The elevator, she looks left and then she turns right and walks that way. She turns right, she stumbles into the wall between the two elevators, and then she continues walking. As she walks down this long hallway, she is once again using the wall to brace herself, and she's going back and forth between the two walls, kind of like stumbling through the hallway. She walks by the bathrooms. The bathrooms are on her right. There's a staircase straight ahead. She walks towards the staircase and runs into the railing. She comes back out of that little area about 18 seconds later. She looks confused, like she doesn't know where she's going, and then she turns left again and heads down the hallway with the lower level bathrooms. This time she walks past the bathrooms and back down the long hallway she pretty much just came from. At 3:32 a.m., she is seen on surveillance footage walking through this kitchen. She walks back to another area where a walk-in freezer is located, and there is no camera or camera footage from this area. But you can see in the footage the shadow of a door being opened and then closed again a few seconds later. So Kenneka Jenkins actually went back into this kitchen, opened the freezer door, and walked inside, possibly thinking it was just another door going someplace else, and the freezer door closed behind her, as these walk-in freezers are built to do. Once inside the freezer, it was completely dark. Now, where were Kenneka's friends at this point? The friends who had left her in the hallway so they could go retrieve her keys and her cell phone from the party. Well, they were looking for her, of course, because they're her friends. Her friends are seen on surveillance of the hotel walking through the lobby at about 3:52 a.m. At this point, Kenneka would have been in the freezer for about 20 minutes, and you can see that her friends are searching for her. They're kind of walking around aimlessly, just kind of looking because they don't know where she is. They're going like this to each other, you know, like, where is she? I can't find her. Kenneka's friends call Teresa, and they ask Teresa, did Kenneka come home? Because we can't find her here at the hotel. Teresa's like, no, she's not here. At 4:20, they all sit in the lobby, probably trying to regroup and figure out what to do next. And at 4:22, they get up and they begin to search the hotel for Kenneka again. At 5:05 a.m., parking lot surveillance footage captures the three girls running, not walking, running to Teresa Martin's car, Kenneka's mother's car. And they get in the car and they drive the car back to Teresa Martin's home. They get back to the Martin home and they tell Teresa Martin, we can't find Kenneka anywhere at the hotel. So Teresa gets in the car with them, drives back to the hotel to have a look herself. When Teresa and Kenneka's friends get back to the hotel, Teresa talks to the front desk. And according to Teresa Martin, she asked if they could look at the surveillance footage to check and see where Kenneka was. And she felt really dismissed by the workers or the employees at this hotel. Apparently the woman who was working the front desk that day told her, like, no, we can't check the security footage. And Teresa was like, well, who can? And the woman said, that's police matters. At around 7:15 a.m., Teresa Martin calls the Rosemont Police Department and she tells them, my daughter's missing.
911, where's the address of your emergency?
Yes, I'm at the Crown Plaza at O'Hare Airport. And I was calling because my daughter came to a party here last night, a gathering with her friends. And now her friends, they say that they left her on the front of the hotel and she's not able to be found now.
She's only been gone for a couple hours. She's, I don't know, maybe she's, she could be somewhere with one of her friends or something, because, I mean, it is only a couple hours since you hadn't seen her, correct? Or since her friends supposedly hadn't seen her?
I just want to know, is it possible that maybe they can look at the cameras and see, it's because they send the police out here and ask them to look at the cameras and see if they've seen her on their cameras around that time?
I was about to say, even if I did send an officer, it would take a little bit in order for us to get the camera footage and for us to pass it on to the detectives division.
So what would you suggest?
What I would recommend, just go home, relax a little bit, give it some time, just give it a couple hours.
So she tells the phone operator exactly what's going on. Her daughter's 19. She's been drinking. Her friends haven't seen her in hours. We can't find her now. Nobody saw her leave the hotel. And he says, it's only been a couple of hours. She's 19. She got drunk last night. She's probably in some room sleeping it off. Maybe her friends are lying about everything. Go home, relax for a few hours. And if you don't hear from her, just give us a call back. So now we move on to the early hours of September 10th. A little bit after midnight, the assistant food and beverage manager walks into the upper kitchen, walks back to the freezer where Kenneka is, and opens the freezer door. He looks in. You can see him on surveillance video doing all of this. He looks in, he comes back out, and he goes out into the hallway and he brings a police officer back in with him. Now I couldn't figure out if the hotel had seen Kenneka on the surveillance footage and that's how they knew to check the kitchen, or if he just happened to be like in the kitchen checking around and found her accidentally. Kenneka was found on her side in the freezer with her face down. One of her white sneakers was off, and behind her, next to her back, was a black scrunchy hair tie sort of thing. A paramedic checks on Kenneka, finds there's no cardiac activity, and says that she is frozen solid, basically. Teresa Martin is shown into a private room in the hotel where she will be notified that her daughter's body has been found and that her daughter is dead. And you can see that they all go into the room, and literally just seconds later, as soon as they tell her, Teresa Martin runs out of the room screaming and crying, runs down the hall, runs into the lobby, and runs out the front doors of the Crowne Plaza Hotel. At 4:15 a.m., she's brought back into the hotel to identify her daughter's body. At 5:08 a.m., she's walked back to the walk-in freezer so that she can see the area where her daughter's body was found. And at 5:12 a.m., she's seen on surveillance walking through the lobby and exiting the hotel. I believe when she left the hotel and she was still outside of the hotel, this is at the point where she put up the Facebook video.
Thank y'all for y'all prayers. I just want y'all to know my baby dead. Thank y'all. I thank y'all for y'all prayers. And for the record, no, didn't nobody do nothing to her, y'all. Didn't nobody do nothing.